In comes Randy Bueller. Out goes Chris Pakula. Well,
Hey.
Howdy. That was a fun match.
That's pretty crazy.
So Nick, how'd you win that match? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so we got our relax up this round.
Oh, awesome.
3-0.
3-0 Pro Tour champion.
Pro Tour champion. Last year, he won the Legacy Champs. Maybe he wants to do the double. Only been done once, to the best of my knowledge.
Roland Chang.
Roland Chang's done it.
Who's still going strong, too, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, Roland is... Right, so Roland, is he 3-0? I saw him when I was looking in through here. Yeah, we had Joel Limbs playing Steve Rubin this round, was the other one. We already had both of them up, so I didn't want to sort of double dip on those guys so quick, but that's another nice, interesting match. The backup match, by the way, this guy comes up to me, he's like, I gotta tell you, my buddy, he's 3-0 and he has a Wingmate Rock in his deck. So I'm like, thank you.
He was
Took
telling
the
you,
name.
You sure he wasn't just telling you what was going on in the PTQ?
No, I wandered over. I checked the deck lists.
What is he playing?
Well, so first of all, he's playing like 4-color humans. I don't know how Wingmate Rock qualifies as a human either, but he has no power in his deck because there's an alternate prize schedule for people who have no power in their deck. So it's a Thalia deck, right? It's sort of hate bears based, but the top of the curve is apparently a Wingmate Rock. He's 3-0. He's playing on table 9. He's the backup match of the feature match area. Why not?
I love it.
Vintage it's awesome.
Add it to the list of vintage playables.
There you go. Absolutely.
By the way, I retweeted something earlier. Someone did a little analysis of all the legacy decks on Magic Online for the last however, and that came out to 1,361 unique cards.
Nice.
So I thought you would be very happy to hear
that's
that.
right at my 10%.
Much more close to your 10%.
Yeah, I said 10%. Wow. Cool.
So, yeah.
1,300. Yeah, that seems like a better number somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's where I thought
the number at the
it was SCG.
The number at top 16s and SCG Opens
was only like 350.
Was 3.5% or something like that. It came in right around 3.5% of the card pool.
Yeah.
So interesting. Do we know what Ari's opponent is playing? Garret Wiley.
I do not know. Yeah, Roland. Here's Roland. He's still 3-0.
Let's get those deck lists back to the judge there. There you go. Okay, so why don't you take a look and talk about Ari's deck here. It's a lot of cards listed.
Wow, that is a lot of cards. Wow, Mind's Desire. Is he on? Oh, he's on Angel City Vault, but with 2 dig through time.
Oh, okay. No Delver?
1 welder. No. This is combo.
Okay, he may have switched up.
He had to make a 3rd column on the deck sheet. This deck doesn't have. It's got a handful of 2-ofs. The only 4-ofs are Scalding Tarn and Force of Will. It's just many ones. One of this. He literally ran out of column space. Had to make a new column.
Okay, so his opponent, Garret Wiley, is playing a deck he calls Shadow Control.
Okay.
So we see, Tolarian Academy, Library of Alexandria, all the, the Time Vault, Voltaic Key, all the power, Divining Top, main deck Flusterstorm.
Wow. 3 copies of Dig Through Time. It's all Dig Through Time today.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 copies of Dig Through Time, a Ponder, a Tutor, a Time Walk, a Tinker, etc., etc. Jace the Mind Sculptor, Tezzeret the Seeker, Snapcaster Mage, and then the Blightsteel Colossus.
Makes sense. Your basic Grixis control.
Yeah, so this is like a land a big card and kill you with it kind of deck, and this is a land a lot of spells and kill you with them deck, right? That's the difference. All right, well, we're gonna watch these guys in action right now. Hi everybody, welcome to round 4 of the Vintage Championship here at Eternal Weekend in Philadelphia. I'm Brian David Marshall. I am joined by Pro Tour Hall of Famer Randy Bueller. And Randy, tell us what we've got in store today.
A couple of 3-0s. These guys have been having a good weekend so far. Ari Lax is playing, I've seen it called Angel City Vault. He and his teammate call it Team Degen Special. I don't know, I've seen the Angel City Vault name floating around a little bit more.
Yeah, these guys were working with Rich Shea. Team Degen includes Danny Batterman and Rich Shea and a couple other guys. And, so I think this might be a Rich Shea.
I didn't know it was Rich. I knew they were working with Menendian.
Were they working with Menendian?
Well, for Vintage Super League, actually, Steve Menendian is playing a version of this deck in the Vintage Super League, the current set, which he got from Danny Bofferman.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I don't know if he got it from as much as he saw Danny playing it and modified it for his own.
I know that they have been discussing strategy during the VSL. In particular, the part I heard about was Menendian trying to figure out how the hell he was going to beat my deck, and the answer was, yeah, you don't. You just that's just a terrible matchup. You can't beat a Null Rod ever. Yeah, the deck is essentially trying to get Time Vault Voltaic Key stitched together. It's got a bunch of draw 7s, it's got a bunch of tutors, it's essentially got all the restricted cards you could possibly dream of. You know, some permission and a couple of dig through times, but really, I mean, it can play a little bit control-ish, but really the goal is find Vault Key, just take all the turns.
And then Garret Wiley.
Yeah, a little more of a traditional control deck. It's got the Vault Key combo.
He's a Philly player, by the way. This is hometown hero.
Makes sense. A little more of a traditional control deck. It's a Grixis control. He's got some 3 lightning bolts to kind of mop up any creatures that somebody might show up with. He's got a Toxic Deluge. Not nearly as many of the draw 7s. In fact, I'm not sure he has any of the draw 7s. He's got a little bigger Planeswalker influence, a couple of Jaces and a Tezzeret. He's got some Snapcasters. It's your basic card advantage control deck. Of course, in Vintage, that means you take control of the game for 3 turns and then find your Vault Key.
Yeah, he's also got Dak Faden, by the way.
Also has Dak Faden. Both players are running Dig Through Time out of Kanzatark here. 3 copies for Garret and 2 for Ari.
Okay.
All right, Ari has the Voltaic Key. Wow, Tolarian Academy. He's 1 Time Vault away from winning the game at this point. 1 resolved Time Vault, to be fair.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't need to fight the first half of that combo to come down. Jeez.
There it is. There's Time Vault.
It's a turn 1 kill if there's no Force of Will. No Force of Will! Turn 1 kill! Wow!
I
didn't think people killed people on the first turn anymore.
I want to explain to people what happens should Garret not just scoop up his cards there.
Sure. So Ari Lax has played a Time Vault. Time Vault says tap to take an extra turn. The problem with Time Vault is you have to skip a turn in order to untap it. Well, that's where Voltaic Key comes in. Voltaic Key, 1 and tap to untap an artifact. So Key untaps Time Vault, you take an extra turn. On that extra turn, Key untaps Time Vault, you take an extra turn. On that, actually, basically, Ari just gets to take all of the turns he wants to find whatever kill condition he wants to find. I mean, in his case, it can be the Jace ultimate. He can attack 20 times with a Goblin Welder. He's got a Sphinx of the Steel Wind to tinker out. Whatever. I mean, the etiquette in Vintage, nobody ever makes you play out Vault Key.
Right.
You know, if you've got a Mana Crypt in play, fine. I'm going to make you kill me before you die to your own Mana Crypt.
Oh, sure.
But as long as you don't have a Mana Crypt in play, people will just scoop to Vault Key, because if you couldn't stop it from coming down, you're not going to be able to stop whatever victory condition they find over the course of the next, 50 turns.
Is there something wrong with me that I now want to see somebody play with the Mana Crypt out? Well, he actually had the Mana Crypt out.
Oh wow, you're right, he did.
And his opponent conceded, but I want to see.
You're right, he did. He should. I would not have scooped there. I would find the Tinker. You might lose 7 coin flips in a row and not find your Tinker. Yeah. That's funny. He actually could have played that out and made Ari flip for the Mana Crypt. Still a turn 1 kill. And for the record, he didn't actually kill on the first turn, but it would totally count. Taking all the turns in my mind, his opponent never got a turn. Totally counts as a turn 1 kill.
If you never get a turn and you die.
Wow, I was not sure we were going to see a turn 1 kill.
Oh, he did get 1 turn. He was on the play, but
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mental Misstep could have stopped the Voltaic Key in theory. I think if Garret Wiley had a Mental Misstep, he probably would have countered that key.
Oh, only 2 in his deck.
Oh, he only plays 2 missteps.
He only plays 2 missteps.
Yeah, 2's a little light. I feel like this is a 3 or 4 format, and I'm on the 4 side of that split.
He does not have. I mean, he does have 4 Force of Wills.
Of course. But yeah, if you don't have a Force of Will, and Ari knew it, he's just he saw his hand. I mean, good God, the mana in that hand. Mana Crypt, Mox Sapphire, Tolarian Academy, Voltaic Key.
And a Mox Emerald.
Yeah, and the combo, the Voltaic Key Time Vault combo actually only costs 4 mana to play out. right? 2 for the vault, 1 for the key, 1 to untap the key. You only actually need 4 mana to play that combo out. Jeez. Must be nice to be Ari Lax right now. He's running pretty good. Didn't use it all up in Hawaii.
No.
He's still got the on-camera turn 1 kill.
We might have time to see Wingmate Rock flying over in Vintage.
We might.
What do you think happens here in a sideboarded game?
Garrett's sideboard, like most sideboards, is loaded with Dredge Hate, 4 ley lines, 3 Grafdigger's Cages. Basically, in Vintage, you only get...
The gentleman's agreement?
Yeah, you only get half your sideboard. Everybody just commits half their sideboard to beating Dredge. I mean, the Grafdigger's Cages do double duty because they also stop Oath of Druids.
Sure.
So they're pretty good in more than just the Dredge matchup. But, you know, the 2 Red Elemental Blasts, he's got a Dak Faden, he's also got 4 Ingot Chewers and a Mountain. Like, most of what you have to do with the rest of your sideboard is make sure you can handle the Shops matchup. Just since those 2 decks come at the format from such a crazy angle,
wow.
It's like half your sideboard for the Dredge, half your sideboard for the Shops deck.
And then hope you get some splash damage on other matchups?
Yeah, I mean, well-constructed sideboards will still have a couple of cards, but if you build your main deck for sort of the quote-unquote normal decks, then yeah, you don't actually see a lot of... You know, you'll see a card here, a card there, but other than Dredge matchups and Shop matchups, people just kind of shuffle up the main deck again.
Now, Ari got a little bit of a look. You know, he saw a Scalding Tarn, I believe,
sure,
and a Mana Crypt. Can he put his opponent on anything? Can he make any sideboard decisions?
Oh, it's not Dredge, it's not Shops. He knows it's sort of a normal deck.
Okay.
Scalding Tarn tells you it's a blue deck. Tells you you're facing Force of Wills and misdirections, mental missteps, and card drawing and whatnot. So, you know, Ari could bring in a Blast if he had one. Might actually go Inkwell Leviathan over Sphinx of the Steel Wind. I don't know. He doesn't know much, but he knows he doesn't need his Dread package or his Shops package. This is all he really needs to know there. You know, you might bring in Flusterstorm.
All right, we're underway here in Game 2, and Black Lotus Scalding Tarn is the play. Is there any reason to hold a Black Lotus?
I mean, the problem with holding a Black Lotus is that if your opponent has to draw 7, like a Time Twister or a Wheel of Fortune, and it's just gone.
Right.
So it's usually better to get it in play. Especially, I mean, against the Shops deck, it's even better to get it in play because they might make it cost more. So it's rare that you hold the Black Lotus. Ponder.
Okay. So is that fetch land Ponder?
Yeah, fetch land out for the Underground Sea.
Yeah.
He shows that he's casting a Ponder once we finish shuffling from the fetch land.
It seems like such an innocuous and fair card in Vintage.
Ponder?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ponder's restricted and Preordain is not. And I'm not actually convinced Ponder's better than Preordain. I mean, I think Ponder is better if you're in a combo deck and you're digging for specific things. It lets you see, you know, 3 cards plus the option to reshuffle. But normally you want one of the 3, and then you're like, I kind of want this card. I don't want to draw the other 2. Preordain is perfect. You're like, one on the top, one on the bottom. Let's go.
Right. Garret Wiley's going to feel pretty good. He gets to have a second turn.
It's a new for him in this match.
Uncharted territory in this match. He also goes and fetches up an Underground Sea. Any anxiety as your opponent shuffles your deck in Vintage?
I mean, people are pretty polite in general. I mean, the people who really care about their cards will double sleeve them.
Sure.
And you get sort of the perfect fit sleeves inside the bigger sleeves, which is a pretty good job of protecting the cards. That's why you'll see Vintage decks are usually physically taller than other decks because there's usually 2 sets of sleeves involved in every card.
Like Masashi Ueso, who does that in every format.
Does he really?
Yeah.
I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah. As does our producer, Matt.
Sure.
I like just that they shuffle better.
Yeah. Ponder into Tolarian Academy. Say go. Tolarian Academy is at the moment an island.
Sure.
Essentially. That will change.
Yeah. Dueling Academies. This didn't used to be how this worked, but
yeah.
The
new legend rules.
It's just the right way to set the game rules up, in my opinion.
All right, we're going to Demonic Tutor. Maybe.
Yeah, it's always an interesting question of do you fight the Demonic Tutor? I usually do not force a will Demonic Tutor unless there's some deal-breaking land.
Right, I was just saying, Tolarian, like if you don't play the Tolarian Academy first,
Well, yeah. I mean, it's usually, is there a Library of Alexandria or a strip mine involved? Those are the sorts of things that can come out of a demonic tutor and then be uncounterable. Or sometimes if you think somebody's setting up for a giant Mind's Desire, you might counter the tutor. If you think it's a Mind's Desire deck. Because obviously you can't counter the Mind's Desire because all the Storm copies. Barring that, though, I mean, it's not worth pitching to Force of Will.
All right. Gets a Black Lotus, we assume.
Yeah, hard to know. He might have tutored for Black Lotus. That's certainly a decent card to tutor for sometimes.
Mystical Tutor.
Yeah. Worth a mental misstep if you've got one lying around.
For Force of Will.
Interesting. It's like, I don't know what you tutored for exactly, but I want to stop it, whatever it was. Mystical Tutor for Force of Will, though, you're just 3-for-1ing yourself. It's like Force of Will is bad enough that you 2-for-1 yourself. Mental misstep? I mean, you Mystical Tutor for it, it's a 3-for-1. I mean, you do what you got to do sometimes. And if you're defending Degenerate something, there's Tezzeret. Tezzeret can single-handedly put the Time Vault Voltaic Key combo together. Wow. -2 to get the Time Vault, -1 to get the key. Just takes 2 turns. And you don't even have to get the key because his other ability is to untap an artifact. So the second turn, if Tezzeret is in play for a second turn, you win.
Right.
So that's what the Force of Will was for.
Right.
Ari had a Force of Will. Garret has a Force back. Pitching Mental Misstep. And now Tezzeret is in play. Yeah, he's going to -2 immediately. Goes and gets the Time Vault. So Ari knows that Garret has effectively said check.
Yeah.
I got you next turn. You break this up?
There are a considerable number of outs here.
Yeah, there are.
Including, assembling his own combo.
Assembling his own combo, blasting the Tezzeret, destroying the Time Vault if he brought in artifact removal. If he's got any kind of draw 7, he'll just try to combo off by himself. Here's Voltaic Key. Basically checking to see if there's a mental misstep. Sacks his Lotus for Yawgmoth's Will. Oh my! How's his graveyard? Black Lotus comes back. Black Lotus Yawgmoth's Will, such a good combo. Whichever one he had, he DT'd for the other half. Pretty sure that's how this played out. Does Garret have a second Force of Will?
He does.
Whoa!
Discarding
Even had a Tinker. Yeah, and Ari scoops him up. Ari knows that Tezzeret is lethal. He can just untap the Time Vault, and this time Garret takes all the turns.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty nuts. Ari had the kill, by the way, if Yawgmoth's Will resolves. Because he's got the DT in his graveyard.
Right. He's got more than enough mana to do everything because of the
Black Lotus. Yeah, Black Lotus comes back, sack it, DT for the Time Vault, key's already in play.
All right, this
feels like vintage.
This is the degenerate vintage I have been waiting for.
There you go.
I am letting this degeneracy wash over me, and I am enjoying it.
Pretty ridiculous. We had a turn 1 kill. We had, DT to set up, I can kill you next turn, and I have Force of Will back up. Oh, no. I'm going to kill you next turn, and I have double Force of Will back up. Oh. All right, on game 3.
I've got no cards left, but you're dead.
Yeah, Ari scooped an empty-handed opponent. Funny.
I am hellbent on taking all the turns.
Hellbent on taking all the turns. I like it.
How hard is it to? What's the number? Like how many blue cards? I mean, because there's a lot of turns where you're going to be like, I absolutely need to Force of Will, and then need to Force of Will again. Like, and how do you? What's the number of blue cards that you have to have in a vintage deck if you're going to play Force of Will?
I mean, to feel good about 4 Force of Wills, you want to be close to 20. I mean, you can try to get away with 15, but I mean that's the range. What does Garret have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17. Dak is blue, 18. And a lot of the random cards, like some people play Fire Ice over Lightning Bolt because you can pitch it to Force of Will.
He's at like 22?
Yeah.
So more than a third of his deck.
Yeah, you get the Flusterstorms and the Brainstorm over here. Yeah, you want to be over 20. And yeah, you can play situational cards if they're blue. Misdirection is a common card you'll see people play. Like, if you misdirect an Ancestral Recall, it's dirty.
It's one of that's one of, so I have a couple, like a little personal scavenger hunt.
Okay.
You know, that's one of my things that I'm looking for. Mana draining a treasure cruise
Oh, that'd be a nice one.
is one of the other things that I'm looking for.
Sure. Yeah,
And of course, Wingmate Rock attacking is clearly on that list.
I like it.
Recently added.
Yeah, Luis Scott Vargas was telling me that there's actually a rule: if you get your ancestral misdirected, you're just obliged to scoop. You lose the game.
Wow.
Like you can't play on. Of course, he said this.
I was just gonna say, isn't there a match where he, like, his opponent ancestrals and misdirects ancestral and
Yes.
Luis wins?
Yes. Then that was the next week. Luis did not honor his own rule.
Yeah.
Just won the game anyway. All right.
Maybe he just meant you. He was like,
Oh, I see.
if this happens to you. Okay.
Luis started playing more misdirections after that week.
Yeah. All right, relax. Going to 6 cards.
Going to 6. Just not that big a deal for his deck.
Right.
His deck has so many sort of degenerate card drawing spells. He can tinker out a memory jar. You know, he plays how many of the draw 7s is this actually play? He's got a couple dig through times eventually. He even plays time spiral on top of the twister in the wheel. Mind's Desire gets hurt by the mulligan, but you know, when you have a twister and a wheel and tinker jar, you just need any access to any one of those, and here's a fresh can to 7 anyway.
Right. So you feel like Ari's deck is a little more, maybe the draw 7s make him a little more robust than.
No, it makes him more degenerate. I actually think it makes him less robust.
Okay.
I mean, the problem is you can twist your opponent into Force of Wills.
Sure.
Like it's sort of more exciting, but at the same time scarier, because it's like you maneuver the game to this point where you can get off your draw 7, but you can't actually control what they're drawing into.
Right.
Like, you have the same number of Force of Wills in your deck that they do. Now, I mean, if you dump your hand and you're just up the 3 or 4 permanents you played before the draw 7, then you can feel good about that part. But it's a little more degenerate, but a little less robust or resilient, in my opinion. Yeah, already thinking about his 6.
That's not a confident flick of the cards. But
No.
yeah, he does keep Mox Pearl, Lotus Petal, Tolarian
Wow.
Academy.
That part's good. Does he have any business? Oh, Transmute Artifact. Interesting. So, Transmute with nothing floating, so he can basically sack a 0 to go get... What does he want to go get? He's going to sack
Lotus?
the Petal? He could get Black Lotus. He could get Mana Crypt. I mean, he could get the Key and then pay 1 mana with the Pearl. But yeah, this isn't Tinker. This is just Transmute Artifact. So he has to pay the difference between the 0 mana artifact that he sacrificed and goes for Soul Ring.
Okay.
So it pays 1 for a Soul Ring. So kind of mulliganing himself again.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a 5-card hand now.
This is not exactly a card advantage deck. Library of Alexandria and on the draw, so that you can immediately play it and draw cards. You haven't seen a library tapped in a while, have
No,
you?
I not physically. I've seen it happen.
Sure.
Online. That's everything is right in the world, Randy Bueller.
All right, Ari Crocs his Scalding Tarn for an Underground Sea. Now what has he got? He needs to just go for whatever he's got. He's not. Things don't get better when you let your opponent milk the library turn after turn. Your opponent's drawing 2 cards a turn. You're drawing 1 card a turn. You got to just jam whatever you've got and hope they don't already have the Force of Will they need.
I wonder, it seemed like a weird question. Has library gotten better in Vintage because of something like Treasure Cruise?
Maybe a little bit.
Abilities, so much ability to restock your hand.
Well, the deck that it's actually best in is Gush.
Oh,
it's like
sure.
Gush gets you onto the library plan.
Gush is, I know there's a Gush deck at the top tables.
Yeah, Gush is good. Wow, Ari's got the Tinker also. So here is Tinker sacrificing Mox Pearl.
All right.
But
Force of
Garrett's
Will.
already got the Force of Will. So now Ari's down yet another card. I don't think he can force back. Does he even have 2 cards left? Well, he can't defend it. But dig through time? That's dig through time.
That is dig through time.
Is that as a response? Or did he have to let... No, he had to let the Tinker go to the graveyard, so...
Yeah.
It's not as a response. The Force of Will resolved, and now all of Ari's mana and all the cards in his graveyard lets him dig for 2 good ones, presumably.
Key vault.
Sure. I mean, that's a little greedy. You're only seeing 7 cards. But yeah, I mean... Ari's still in it. He's made his opponent show him a Force of Will. And the thing is, that Force of Will actually takes Garret off the library plan. I don't like the way Garret tapped his library main phase. If he had said go and then tapped library to go up to 8 cards, he could have Force of Willed, been on 6, draw phase up to 7. But by going main phase library, play the Mox Pearl, he's off the library plan. He can't draw an extra card this turn. Or he could Ancestral Recall.
Yeah.
And get back to 7. Still, there's not a huge advantage to tapping library on your own turn.
I think he wanted to play the Mox Pearl.
Yeah, but why?
Yeah.
It's going to be 0 mana next turn. I guess your opponent's going to resolve a draw 7, but he had the Force of Will, and he should know that he might be forced to use the Force of Will. I don't know. If he had the Ancestral, maybe that makes his plan mildly better.
All right, Demonic Tutor.
Jeez, this turn. He shows up. He's off the library plan after the Force of Will, untaps. He's got an Ancestral into Mox Academy. And then he says go after the Demonic Tutor?
Yes.
And Ari, is that a Brainstorm?
Yeah, no, he's activating his top.
Oh, he's got a top in play now.
He played top.
That's what he got off dig through time, was Sensei's Divining Top?
Yeah, Sensei's Divining Top.
Plus
and,
something.
I think
do we know yet?
a land?
I mean, those 2 lands were in play.
Yeah, okay. So 1 unknown card in hand? Okay.
Wow, Demonic Tutor go. I mean, Garret mysticaled for Demonic Tutor in the second game. Would he DT for Demonic Tutor there? I mean, DT for Force of Will there? Mysticaled for Force of Will previously.
Yeah,
he seems to like to tutor for control cards. All right, Ari's got a Ruby. And flips the top. Wheel of Fortune.
He's got to draw 7.
It's really good if it resolves.
Speaking of 7,
yeah,
Garret looks
I got nothing. You got 7. 7-card hand that includes whatever he Demonic Tutored for last turn.
And it goes away. It was Tinker.
Yeah, probably. He had a mana drain in there too.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that was the key turn. Ari had that window. And now they're kind of even-ish, right?
Yeah.
Both have a Academy with a couple of Moxes. Both have a full grip of 7 cards. Ari's recovered from the mulligan plus those initial plus that Force of Will.
Plays an Emerald. Plays Volcanic Island. Looks like he had some mana floating.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, he tapped his Academy before the wheel. Oh, jeez. How about a Time Spiral?
Well.
Yeah, I mean, Ari drew 7 cards, played a couple of them. Now he would like 7 more.
And he would like to untap his Tolarian Academy.
And he, crucially, would like to untap Tolarian Academy. Yeah, the Angel City Vault deck, that Academy is spectacular. They play a lot of artifacts.
And he says, okay.
I mean, if he doesn't have the Force of Will, what else is he going to do?
Oh my gosh.
This feel like vintage now?
This feels like this. I mean, yes. Tolarian Academy is where I have a Tolarian Academy sweatshirt.
Nice.
That I wear, probably more often than I want to admit.
When's the last time you untapped a Tolarian Academy with Time Spiral?
Probably when we were at PAX.
Playing the historical standard decks?
The historical standard decks.
Yeah. Fair enough. That's when that's the last.
I was pretty stubborn to go on. Do you want to play a different deck? No. Why would I?
Yeah, I've been playing a little more historical standard. Now you can play a second Tolarian Academy and keep the untapped one.
Oh, God. I think when we played at PAX, we were playing under old rules, right?
Yeah.
So I would like to go there though.
You would like to go to there?
Yes. All right, both players shuffle up 7 new cards, including stuff that's already gone by in the graveyard because everyone's graveyard just shuffled back in.
Not the stuff that was removed from the dig through time, though.
Sure. Oh, sure. Yes. Oh, so there's really not that much here that got shuffled in. So it's all new cards for Ari.
For Ari, yeah.
Yeah.
For Garret, though, the Tinker and stuff that was in the graveyard is shuffled back in. All right. Now this draw 7 is bigger edge Ari because his lands are untapped.
Right.
He's got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana
He's got
to Garrett's 0.
No, he's got 4 artifacts. So that's
6 mana.
So you got 6 mana, yeah.
Yeah, counting is hard.
We're getting into Mind's Desire territory.
Oh my God, Mind's Desire would be ridiculous
So
here.
we're doing a storm count for sure.
Oh boy.
I think this is Mind's Desire.
Wow.
Relax. I love this deck.
Mana Vault. Storm count is 6, I think.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, Mox, Wheel, Ponder, Spiral. Might only be 5. Goes ahead and taps for 5 blue. Yeah, that makes sense. I think I saw an Ancestral.
I saw an Ancestral, yeah.
You get a misstep, Garret?
I mean, if
Nope,
you do,
I
that's
only
fine.
played 2 missteps. Yeah, true. If he has a Mind's Desire in his hand, he'd be fine. A misstep would not be the end of the world there. 3 colorless to go with my 4 floating blue mana.
Is that Time Walk?
I think so. It's not bad to do before you mind. Does he have a mind?
Sure.
Have we seen a Mind's Desire?
No, we have not.
Okay.
I mean, I was just, you're storm
Yeah.
counting.
Yeah. I mean, at some level, just knowing you have Mind's Desire in your deck, you don't want to lose track
Sure.
of it.
Yes.
And is that Mind's Desire? That is Mind's Desire with a Time Walk turn floating.
What's the storm count here? So 9.
9 is what we think the storm count is?
Either 8 or 9.
Either 8 or 9.
So
It was 6 and then the 1.
Storm count is enough. Enough that it would be a really bad beat for Ari to lose from here.
4 and 10.
storm is 10.
Let's reveal 10 cards. Not, tell me Garrett's not going to make him shuffle every time. Okay. Inkwell Leviathan, a Twister, a Welder, Top. Nothing that wins on the spot.
But Time Walk.
Yeah, there's a Time Walk turn floating. So he just plays everything. Plays the Welder, plays the Inkwell Leviathan, plays the Top, plays, is that a Key? And a Lotus.
Plays a
and
Preordain.
Yeah, if he can find the Time Vault, then he wins. Even if he can just find a Yawgmoth's Will to
Yeah.
get the Time Walk again. I guess it takes 3 hits from Inkwell to actually win the game. 7-11 Island Walk, Trample, Shroud. Just your everyday ordinary Magic card.
Is he considering Time Twister in here? Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Jordan Sadler.
He's gonna force a will his own Time Twister?
Vintage Championships scorekeeping.
Interesting.
desk.
Fuel for future dig through times, I guess. Not interested in giving Garret a fresh hand when he knows Garret doesn't have anything in this one, or doesn't have any Force of Wills in this one. And you don't get to untap Mana Vault. You get to pay if you want that one. Force of Will my own Time Twister just to get cards in the graveyard is interesting. Would have been at least a little tempted to Twister there. I don't know. He's so far ahead. It probably just is wrong to twist.
Just wanted those cards in his yard instead of exiled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's creating dig through time food.
So yesterday, all about Treasure Cruise. Today,
It's been dig through time. Much to my surprise. Yeah, there's the dig through time. Yeah, dig through time, not best of friends with Yawgmoth's Will, So, I mean, they're kind of competing. Ari's trying to remove the stuff he's least likely to want to Yawgmoth's Will back. In fact, he's thinking about spending some colorless mana on this.
Yeah.
Just so that he can preserve cards in his graveyard. Yeah, definitely do not want to remove the Ancestral or the Walk if you can help it. Wow.
Garret Wiley.
Remember when
hit
Garret
the F6 key?
Remember when Garret had 7 cards in his hand and Ari didn't have anything?
Yeah, and a library.
7 cards in a library. Ari had a mulligan into a transmute artifact into a tinker that got countered.
Yeah, things were not looking good for Arilax at that point.
That was last turn.
I mean, last turn.
Garrett's last turn.
Yeah, yes, Garrett's last turn is the correct way to phrase that. All right, Mystical Tutor. Mystical Tutor for Demonic Tutor.
He's got the, does he have, yeah, he has the top, right? So he tops for the Demonic Tutor, he DTs for the Time Vault, and we're done. There's no way Garrett's been slow rolling a Force of Will.
There is the Time Vault.
Garrett's gonna check. I really didn't have a Force of Will in this draw, did I? No. Doesn't have to take very many turns to kill with that Inkwell Leviathan. Yeah,
and that's the game. Arilax.
Nice.
About as, like, defeated a position you could be after 1 turn of the game or 2 turns of the game. And it just turns it all around on a Time Twister.
Yeah, it felt like he had that 1-turn window.
Yeah.
I mean, it just comes out, does he have gas left? Like, he transmute, okay, fair enough. He's setting up, all his opponent's got library, make him Force of Will something. You know, he tinkers, says, show me a Force of Will. Okay, yes, I've got the Force of Will. I just, when your opponent then untaps Ancestrals, back on the library plan, Demonic Tutors, you think you're dead, but now you're just, all right, well, show me something. I got one more.
But you also know if your opponent untaps,
oh, then you're definitely
you're dead. So you're free, right? You're like, all right, I'll Time Twister.
What do you think? Oh, yeah, DT go when you don't have a Force of Will against a deck with a bunch of draw 7s is a little scary, a little risky.
Yeah, that was, and it's interesting. Hey, if he doesn't DT there, if he doesn't tutor, you know, maybe Ari doesn't.
Nah, he's still
he pushes the reset button.
It's
right
still
there.
a library. You're still playing against an opponent who has a library of Alexandria and 7 cards in his hand.
Okay. You're still doing.
How's the back table?
What's the back table result?
Just finished, and Michael won duo. Oh, Wingmate Rocks did not get there.
No.
We can look at the deck list though. Look at it.
Sure. Yeah. So Michael Ruggiero looks like, you know, a pretty streamlined shops list. You know, lots
Lodestone,
of
Chalice of the Void.
Yeah, Metamorph,
Sphere,
Revoker.
Thorn.
Yeah, we've seen this, but really straightforward looking list with the null rods.
Yeah, 3 null rods not very good against the unpowered deck.
So, which version is this called? This is called.
This is Terra Nova.
Terra Nova. There you go.
Mistress Factors and Mutavolts to win the game.
Cotton Sanford, on the other hand, Thalia, Dark Confidant, Deathrite Shaman, Elvish Spirit Guide, Mayor of Averbrook, Spirit of the Labyrinth.
Spirit of the Labyrinth is a real card.
Yes. Wingmate.
1 Wingmate Rock.
One Wingmate Rock may not be the most unexpected card to me in this deck.
Okay.
1 Ixava Rakdos Blood Witch.
Sure.
Pretty interesting. There's a lot of range in Vintage for what you can do.
Yeah, he's still 3-1.
Yeah,
it's good shape for the unpowered prize.
Are we?
Still top 8 contention.
Are we going to try to get Arilax coming in here for an interview?
Oh yeah, let's talk to Ari.
Let's talk to our reigning Pro
Tour champion. It's been a while
champion.
since he's been on camera getting interviewed about his victories. Is somebody actually fetching Ari? Oh, judges. I'm gonna bring him.
Straighten up, get prepared for the inevitable shimmy left for the interview.
Saw Rich Shea walk by. He's not been having a great tournament so far.
No.
I think he's 1-2 at this point.
Yeah.
As is Bob, by the way, 1 and 2.
Oh no. How about Dave Williams?
2-1.
Okay. I would not mind getting Dave Williams on camera,
Yeah, me neither.
seeing what he's doing.
Menendian's also 2-1. Roland Chang, we said, was 3-0 going into this round. Ari's now 4-0.
Yeah. 4-0 and, running hot.
Yes. For the first turn kill. He wandered away. We'll track him down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Attention vintage players.
Well, we can track Pakula. Pakula's supposed to linger.
Right.
It's his job.
Right,
He's got
yes.
one job when he's not on.
Yeah, he's
on
out.
camera.
He's busy somewhere meddling.
Probably involves kids too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's bringing his kid around to all the dealers' tables with a trick or treat bag.
Nice.
So, if you don't have candy, I mean, we'll take cards. Yeah, you have him with you, right?
We didn't tell you your job when you're off camera is to make sure the winner of the last feature match comes in to get interviewed. No, we didn't tell you that part. Well, that turns out you have a job.
Yeah. Tattoo that on
We're
your
looking
chest so that when you wake up in an amnesia haze, you remember to do it.
I've been signing medley bonuses. It's an important job.
Signing
What
meddling
did I
mages,
say?
Yes.
I said he was out there somewhere meddling. So yeah, we'll see if we can trick him. Yeah, insane
We had first
match.
turn kill. First turn, he goes.
Kill or time ball key?
First turn resolve time vault key totally counts.
Counts.
Yeah.
Not as cool as like channel fireball.
Nobody plays channel fireball.
There should be a channel fireball bounty.
It was overkill mana wise too. It was like Mox, Crypt, Academy, Time Vault Key. There was another. I think there was another.
There's an
two
Emerald.
Moxes.
I got channel emerald.
Channel Emrakul. That's not bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually kill though.
Right, and I had nothing to annihilate.
The Annihilator, not very good if you haven't given your opponent a turn yet.
It's actually duress channel.
Nice.
Hey Chris, I'm gonna let you come in here, and I'm gonna go get a chair.
Let me drop this right here. Hey Randy, how's it going?
Good. It's been a while. I haven't seen you on camera winning things in quite some time.
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Yeah, you can hang out in the middle. That's fine. We'll get Chris in here too.
Hey.
Days.
Since this guy won a pro.
Yeah.
So, tell me about the first game. That had to feel good.
Yeah.
The on-camera first turn kill.
You put these cards in your deck to draw them, man. I can't say anything else. Yeah, I really like this deck. It does all the things I want to do in the format, and I've been working with a great group of guys for, I want to say, like, I've been working on this for like 6 or so months, minus the month off I took to test for the Pro Tour, and they've been working on it for a year almost.
So who's the crew?
It's me,
Give them the shout-outs.
Joel Lim,
Okay.
Danny Baderman, Ben Perry, and I feel like I'm forgetting someone right now, and I really apologize. Why am I forgetting people? I can look this up. Is that okay?
I mean,
I've been mostly talking to Danny Baderman is why, and I'm
Yeah,
currently,
Danny's the guy who keeps chatting me up about the copies of this deck.
This
that have
deck
been in
is
the Vintage Super
this deck
League.
is
what
great.
is this deck? I missed this deck. Or
Angel City Vault.
Oh, Angel City
It's a-
Vault.
the
Okay.
Steel
They're
City
calling
Vault.
it the Team
Team
G-Gen
G-Gen
Special, but
Okay.
Yeah.
it's Angel City Vault, right?
Angel City, Angel or
don't
Steel
know.
City Vault, whoever. It's Angel because Danny's from Kelly.
Angeles, yeah.
It's Steel City because Damar's played it in Pittsburgh the first time. Whichever you want.
And Damar's just lost it on camera last round in a crazy match.
Yeah.
Yeah, that deck is real nice. Okay, let's go through the list. I am obviously forgetting people because I've been completely out of touch for 3 weeks or so.
had other
So you got Jen Wong, who is unfortunately not here, but she helped us test and is our expert chops player.
Okay.
And then we have Kevin Long as our 6th.
Got it.
So we've been doing a lot of work, and I've been doing my thing where I systematically go through all the decks in the format and figure out what I want to play.
Makes sense.
I basically determined that I wanted to cast the card Mind's Desire, not only because the card is absolutely insane and one of 3 deck unique cards that if in all of Vintage there's deck unique cards, right? Everyone gets to play Lotus, everyone gets to play Academy.
Sure.
But you have to have specific cards that are your archetype, and the 3 best ones are Mind's Desire, Necro, Bargain. And we get to play with Desire, and Necro and Bargain require you to play with Dark Ritual, which then makes your Forcibles bad when Forcible is just too good to come. So it's unfortunate.
I'll buy that.
But yeah, this deck is great. Does all the things I want to do. I really enjoy sitting around explaining to my opponents how I'm going to kill them for 22 minutes while they kind of stare at me. If you've watched me play Legacy over the last 3 or 4 years, you'll get the gist when I'm playing ad nauseum.
Sure.
But yeah, the deck is really well positioned right now.
Now tell me about that. Why is this deck so well positioned?
So traditionally, the problem with the combo decks in Vintage has been that they're very bad against shops. Like if you lose the roll against shops, you feel like you're dead.
Agreed.
If you win the roll against shops, you have to like do something on one to kill them. But we have a board plan that's good against them, and we have our game one is a lot better because we have Force of Will over the traditional Duress, so that on the draw we can counter their spell and like make a setup turn and kill them.
Sure.
And we also have the same thing on the play, like make our play and then force their thing and then kill them on two.
Okay.
Unlike Tendrils, we also don't have to cast a lot of spells. We just have to key vault, and from that point the game ends.
Sure.
And our deck doesn't have cards like Tendrils in it to really draw against them. Delver, you know, like they sometimes can get you, but realistically, if you prevent the game from getting to a state where they are doing their thing where they 1-for-1 you repeatedly, then cruise, you should win, which is pretty easy because all you do is just cast your broken cards till they run out of things, because they only have like forces that can counter Wheel of Fortune or whatever.
Sure.
In most lists. And then the other blue decks, you are just faster, more threat dense, and just as counter dense, and your counters are free. If you look at the list, there's, you know, we've got misdirections, we've got mental missteps, and we have Force of Wills. You know, we're not actually paying mana in any fight. They have drains, so that card is real clunky if they want to try to be aggressive or defensive. So if they sit, we're okay sitting because we have things like Dig Through Time, and we can just fight them on that axis. But if they move, they're cutting their counter spells, whereas if we move, we have everything back.
Third game that happened there.
Oh yeah.
What did you think your odds were of actually winning that game? Like turn one, you mulligan, right? And then you go transmute artifact to go get the Soul Ring. At that point, you kind of have a 5-card hand. It can't be feeling great.
I thought my mana was okay. I felt a little sketchy, but a lot of my threats off the top were really good.
Right, so he goes library, taps his library to play the Mox.
Yeah, or taps to draw a card, plays the Mox, passes. And at that point, I felt like that game was just going to be me buried under counter spells, which sometimes happens. You know, if they play library on one, the card's very good on turn one.
Right, so you jam Tinker.
Yeah.
And he Force of Wills.
Yeah, I double counted my mana to make sure I had exactly enough with the Tinker to dig. And dig is crazy good. Like, Dig Through Time is just on another level of, like, card drawing in this format. Like, the big thing missing in Vintage since the restriction of Brainstorm, probably, and the restriction of Thirst, has been a good, solid card drawing or selection engine. And it's like, you can kind of see that in the blue decks. They lose a lot of games where they just, like, get to a board state where they have all their lands, they're just like, draw off the top, it's not a threat, draw off the top, it's not a threat. Now that like Treasure Cruise and Dig are in the format, I don't think the big blue decks are the best decks positioned to use those, but the decks that can use those cards break that wide open and get to exactly the draw card.
No, you're not going to see any more Knight's Whisper. Knight's Whisper is dead.
No, Knights. I don't want to say dead,
It's not,
but,
sure, but
it is
that's just
playing second fiddle.
That's just an example of how true what you're saying is. The fact that people were playing Knight's Whisper shows you how weird the card drawing situation was in Vintage.
Yeah, and like the difference between Dig Through Time and a draw 7 is like pretty marginal. It's kind of like an instant speed draw 7.
For just you.
Yeah, where you don't get like to free roll the mana, but you just get the 2 cards that are going to kill them out of the draw 7. And like, again, if you look at the cards I listed as the best cards, they're all the personal draw 7s. Mind's Desire, Bargain, Necro. The ones that let you draw cards and not them. And Dig is just another card in that category.
Do you remember what you actually got off the Dig? We couldn't see your hand at that point. So
it was
you jammed a Tinker, he had the Force of Will, but you had exactly enough mana left after the Force resolved.
It was Force and Mystical, so I could like Mystical Demonic Key Vault.
Okay.
How reliant is your deck on Yawgmoth's Will?
It's a card. It does powerful things.
He didn't resolve it this match.
Yeah, every other card in my deck does powerful things. It's just another one of the restricted cards.
Right. I'm just wondering how much Rest in Peace is really gonna.
If you can play around it. That's the best part of the deck. Is all of your spells are good, so you can just like move your cards around in any given matchup and just win any game.
Yeah, powerful cards.
Yeah.
So feeling pretty good at 4-0. Would you change anything about the deck, or you learned anything so far that would change your take?
Not so far. I've learned that every decision that I've tried to argue with Danny with, that he's argued back on, he's been right on.
Oh, interesting.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
For example,
I wanted to shave misdirections and play like Red Blast, and it's just like, no, you shouldn't do that. You want free counters, and like it just cascades. And like, oh, and they can mental misstep my counter now. That's horrible. And then, oh wait, no, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you? How often do you win game 1 against Dredge?
I want to say that I'm like a slight favorite game 1 actually, just because of speed and the fact that I have basically pre-boarded Graveyard Hate and Twister and Spiral. I did lose game 1 against Dredge last round, but that was like a game where they go unmask on the play, and I'm like, I'll misdirection it because I have 1 threat, and then they play Bazaar, and I'm just like, yes, I'm dead. Dredge into like Bridges, Dread Return, Cabal Therapy. Yeah, very dead. We're done here. But yeah, you're like a slight favorite game one and a huge favorite post board.
I mean, that's
so.
one of the huge advantages of actually playing the broken vintage decks instead of
you can race a dredge
You can
deck.
actually
Yeah, you don't. Well, you also get sideboard cards.
Right.
It's like, oh, I have like 4-ish dredge hate in my board. I don't need any more. I don't need 6 or 7.
But there's a whole crew of Treasure Cruise players out there who are like 5% to win game 1 against dredge.
Yeah, they're like 5% and they spend half their sideboard. We spend like 4 cards and we can like play cards that are actually good against other people too because we don't need the dedicated dredge hate.
So you think Dig versus Treasure Cruise, vintage, it comes down on the side of Dig?
Oh, absolutely. When you look at 7 cards and pick your 2 best, and they're restricted, they have to be better than 3 randoms.
It's not even deck dependent, it's just straight up always Dig? I feel like the Delver decks don't actually care that much about their cards.
That might be true, but
it might also be that that's a reason to play your deck instead of a Delver list.
Yeah, that was about what I was going to say. And then it's also an instant, so like if you look at the Resto Angel deck that has like, that deck was something that I was really interested in, was like a Fact or Fiction, Dig Through Time, Resto Angel, Spirit of the Labyrinth, Mana Drain deck. Because like there's so many positive interactions in those cards. Like you get to leave up your mana from drain, use the drain mana on your expensive colorless spells, but then also do things if you don't drain, and then you have Spirit that works well with Fact and Dig when people are cruising. There's just like so many powerful interactions in that deck. But I wanted to cast Mind's Desire. Who doesn't want to cast Mind's Desire?
It's really good. It is really,
I'm just reminded last year of the, I don't know why it's so memorable, but the Reed Duke on camera match in this tournament last year, where he tutored for Mind's Desire, and I was like, I don't really think this works. He had so few threats in his deck. Cast Mind's Desire, was like blank, 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 blank. All right, I guess you win. Like, that's you do it. It does have some deck. It does restrict.
His was for 10.
Right. That's a lot different.
So I have lost in the extended where you can play Mind's Desires in your deck multiple. I have lost a Desire for 12. Like I've been playing Mind's Desire since it was printed in Standard with like Cabal Rituals and Early Harvest and Rampant Growth and Moments pieces.
Early Harvest. Yeah.
So like, I've had my fair share of whiffs over the years. It is really hard to whiff in Vintage.
Depends on how you build your deck.
Yeah.
If you build your deck right, it's hard to win.
I whiffed on a 7 today, but it was also like a 7 where I just like hit, 5 mana, passed the turn, didn't die, and untapped with like 13 mana in play and cards in hand.
And you can whiff off a draw 7.
Yeah,
too, so.
It happens on occasion.
Right.
So what's your schedule look like the rest of the year? Do you have other events lined up for
so
near
next
future?
It's crazy. So next weekend I have Nashville teaming.
Who's your team?
Alex John and Matt McCullough, my team from Providence. This one is on this side of the country, so I don't have to ditch them for 2 Pro Tour champions, Hayne and Wesco. It's really funny. I'm actually just the worst player on the team in like basically every aspect except for deck selection. So it's great. And everyone was like, "Oh man, you're playing against the like player and will help the person in the middle." I'm just like, "Guys, what do I do? Guys, help!"
So Nashville next week.
Nashville, a weekend off, New Jersey.
Okay.
Ottawa. That's drivable from Boston apparently, 7 hours or something like that. And then Thanksgiving, I'm not flying to San Antonio. Taking a week off, as I can afford to, as I'm platinum and worlds and all that good stuff anyways. And then I think it's 2 weeks to Baltimore after that.
Yeah, there's the Worlds in between. Essentially.
There's Worlds in between?
Because Thanksgiving,
Okay.
then there's...
Yeah.
I know I'm in Nice for like 9 days or something.
Okay,
both
yeah.
the Players' Championship.
That
and
sounds
the-
rough.
Yeah,
It'll be okay.
Horrible.
It's just a long trip. There's a lot of coverage.
Yeah,
This thing. It's going to be awesome. But
I'll be in Philadelphia for those 9 days.
I might actually, like,
be
for that
jealous.
tournament, try to put in work for this year just as practice for next year to, like, understand how do you even approach a 4-format event.
Yeah, the weird thing is the format. I mean, the format could be anything. Like, they've shown a willingness to do crazy things.
Yeah, but how do you even
It's
allocate
always-
your time to approach everything? Like,
right, it's always been Standard and the current draft format.
right.
Right, but the other 2
But they could change
formats
it.
are kind of like.
They could change it, sure. And yeah, this year's our Vintage Masters draft and Modern.
Yeah, that one's really absurd because, like, you can't draft Vintage Masters now, so it's like you had to practice for that months ago.
I would be surprised if it doesn't come back on mid-go at some point before Worlds.
Fair enough.
I got to imagine they're going to put it back up. Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Fair enough.
But it's certainly right now essentially impossible to practice.
Yeah, unless you build your own Vintage Masters.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan personally of the decision to run Vintage Masters draft, but
It's pretty cool.
I like how everyone else is a fan of, like, not a fan of Modern. Like, that's the one they're like, whoa, guys, you're gonna let us play Jeskai Ascendancy?
I mean,
And
just Guy
Treasure
Ascendancy
Cruise.
aside, maybe it's not. Modern's a fun format to play.
It really is. I agree. It's just, it'll be interesting to see what people show up with, as with every year. People's decisions at that event are so interesting, just based on like split testing groups and like the small field.
Yeah, I'm glad they made the field larger. I think it's a really good
It's
decision.
24 this year instead of 16.
Yeah, it's a little bit larger is nice, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm glad that the players do kind of like. There is a self like, well, guys, if all 6 of us team together, it's kind of lame.
Yeah,
So let's not do it. Like
Pantheon has, I think, 7, so they're splitting into like a 3.
Is it 7? Sam, Martell, Chapin, Huey,
PGO.
Owen, Reed.
Yeah, I think PGO is adopting Cuneo, and then the other half
Cuneo's
of
not-
Cuneo's not qualified, but he's going to help them, so they'll have 4 and 4. They've, I guess, decided 4 is just the right number
the
to test
4?
for a format like this.
Yeah, that sounds fine. I mean, no one from our team is qualified, but Fennell was the last man out by a GP top 8 tiebreaker.
Yeah, we'll see. I heard the rumor that he started testing, but see how that plays out.
Yeah, we'll see.
it's gonna be a good tournament to watch.
It will
gonna be awesome.
It's
But then you've got Baltimore for your next tournament the weekend after that.
Yes, and then I don't think there's any other GPs through December.
No,
I think that's right.
I think that closes it out, and I discovered this week that I'm gonna skip Denver because I can't find flights that are under $1,000.
Oof.
So, well,
$1,000's a
with
lot.
my schedule. So yeah, it's just
Okay.
like not gonna. Unfortunate, but
Yeah, you got a full-time job, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
This crowd knows the biology,
yeah,
but
I very regularly work 40 hours a week and leave on at 4 p.m. on Friday and catch a 7 p.m. flight to the GP and fly back a red eye.
the full-time
as a-
job, the full-time job Pro Tour winner is extremely rare these days.
I mean, Martell did it last year, and
That's true.
it's you just gotta learn how to use your time right. I mean, that's life, right?
Yeah.
and electrical engineering. That's
Yeah,
very cool.
it's good stuff.
Well, awesome. Congrats on the round. Maybe
Thank you.
keep winning. Get you back here in a couple of rounds. See how it
Yeah,
goes.
I'll work it out. I'll keep casting my spells, and usually if I do that, I win. So
Not giving the opponent any turns seems to be a good strategy.
yeah.
You can
Usually, if
pull
you
it
take all of the turns in a game, you're the winner. Occasionally, you're not because of mana crypt, but that's very rare.
Were you surprised he scooped game 1? You had Vault Key with Mana Crypt in play, and he just scooped. Like, I would have made you flip the coin. Like, show me a victory condition, show me a Tinker. I'm not scooping to Vault Key while you have Mana Crypt in play.
That's fair. I think I had something in hand too. Or
I mean, look, the odds are you're starting from 20. You haven't taken any damage, so I mean, your odds are quite high, but they're not actually 100%. It doesn't take very long.
I mean,
to
I
play
get
it
at
out.
least a draw 7 to get out of it, right?
Right.
Probably. Like
Sure.
6 cards, 6 draw steps.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, the scoop was slightly premature, I thought.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem fun to play against.
No, it's not fun.
Obviously.
It's not fun to. Yeah, it's never
Rooting for
fun.
the guy
to,
to
like-
lose his Mana Crypt flips, isn't that
Right,
fun?
or to somehow forget to take the extra turn, like, you untap, that's it.
No, yeah, I'm never making
I'm just
somebody
gonna set
play
my
that.
stuff aside and be like, shortcut,
It's
please.
just the Mana Crypt flips is the only time you played it. Anyway, been running pretty well.
A little bit, yeah.
Making some nice decisions, too.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good luck.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks.
If you sign up for Legacy Round
Sneak over this way.
your tournament will now be starting. Please come up to the side events table. Once again, if you sign up for Legacy,
How close are we to the next round?
Number 4, please come to the side events area. Your tournament will be starting.
It sounds like the round ended about 5 or 6 minutes ago. Winding down extra turns. If you got a deck tech queued up that we haven't already shown too many times,
Championships tournament stage.
we can also chat. I don't know what you saw in your round while you're wandering around in your round off. Signed some meddling
I
mages.
signed some meddling mages. I did
That's
not
good stuff.
catch up on a lot of vintage during the round, unfortunately.
You have more important things to do. I understand.
I also, a lot of people showed me their PTQ sealed pools. So yeah, I was
How's
doing,
the PTQ going?
they got a little over 200 players today, and a lot of good players in it. Sure it's gonna be tough. PTQs aren't easy.
Did you see any good pools?
I did not really see any good pools. I saw a lot of people going, man, this is a tough pool. I'm gonna post this. Like, it's a lot of people struggling. Because mostly I was talking to people who had already been eliminated or, Cons is a extremely interesting sealed format, limited format draw. There's a lot of disagreement. I mean, I don't know if you saw the Twitter kind of exchanges this week, like
Which one?
about Frank Karsten's article on Console.
yeah.
I mean, what's funny about that is I literally got out of bed. I usually like read random stuff for 15 minutes in the morning before I go to work.
Yeah.
And the thing I read that morning is Carson's article, and I was like, this is unusual.
Yes.
I emailed it out. Like, before I went to work, I emailed it to the Magic email list. I'm like, what do you guys think of this? And then when I got to work, at some point in the day, I checked Twitter, and I saw Cuneo going like, wow,
This is
really?
insane.
Yeah. So so I was on board with it being strange. So there's a lot of disagreement in the format.
I don't know that I've ever seen a format where people disagree with each other this much.
I mean, it's the format is. I mean, I don't know if maybe it's just a tough format and there's some variance and no one's really right.
Well,
it's hard, but man, there's a lot of different takes.
Yeah, I mean, part of what I think is going on is that you can succeed being 2-color, you can succeed being 2 and a splash, you can succeed being solidly 3-color, you can succeed being 5-color, and so you can't really make a pick order list because it's also situational.
Right.
If you're the only guy in your clan, your deck's great. Like, you pick up the lands. If you're the only 5-color deck player at your table, your deck will be great. If you're the only Black-White Warriors player at your table, your deck will be great. So you have to kind of read, I think, situationally. And I mean, for me, it's actually a testament to R&D, how they set this target of, okay, 5 3-color decks, a couple of 2-color decks, and a couple of 5-color decks. That's what the average table of 8 should be. And they actually hit it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very impressive. I think
yeah, it's
like the morph mechanic is great, and I am a little surprised at how little agreement there is, but like
I know. I mean, you've got
and I feel
Neil
that when I
Reed,
try
Chris
to play,
Fennell.
I don't know what's best.
Right, Neil Reeves, Chris Fennell are saying 5-color. Ari Lax won the Pro Tour, basically saying Neil Reeves told me to draft 5-color until it's proven otherwise. I'll draft 5-color until it's proven otherwise. Yes, sir, Mr. Reeves, sir. But Frank Karsten is on the 2-color side of the fence. He believes you really want consistent mana bases, and I watched him draft a deck on camera at Grand Prix Atlanta. He drafted green-white.
Right, I mean, the thing that really got me about why I really thought Frank's article was strange was that I actually have drafted a lot of 2-color decks.
Okay.
And I still disagree with so many things in this article. That's what really was amazing. Is
those guys even had Dead Drop as unplayable, right?
They had it below the 1/4 lifelink morph. They had it like basically unplayable.
Below Sidisi's pet?
Yeah.
Wow.
Below the 3/3 whatever that first striker guy is, Unyielding Kumar, whatever.
Unyielding Kumar, yeah.
I mean, clearly, I think their team just maybe. They also thought black was like the worst color, so it seems sort of like they just gave up on black early and didn't dig that deep into it.
Yeah,
but
and
still,
I think they also believed you had to set up Dead Drop, and it's like, no, the first Delve card you put in your deck is just free.
Right.
I don't care if it's supposed to cost 10.
I'm Dead Drop's a little tough, but
I'm putting Dead Drop in every deck with black mana.
I agree, but I have done things to make it. I've played the Mind Rot.
Yeah. Oh, the Mind Rot's great, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the draw 2, discard, the draw 2.
Bitter Revelation, I'm just a huge fan of.
Agreed.
But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of ways to go in this format, and the format is really 2-drops are really great against people who their first play is a morph.
Yep.
But then when your opponent plays like an 0-5, you're like, why did I think all these 2-drops are going to win me this game? Like, this guy's still at 20.
Right.
Like, so there's a lot of interesting things in the format. It's a very deep format, and I don't know if maybe it's not solvable. Maybe it's always going to be like sometimes this is good, sometimes this is good.
I mean, at this point, we're 6 weeks in. We've had a Pro Tour, a couple of Grand Prix. It's not going to get solved now.
No, maybe not. I mean, well,
there isn't one solution.
Right.
I think that the more different decks you're capable of drafting well, the better off you are. And then a lot of the skill becomes figuring out, okay, with this sealed pool, what am I supposed to do? With these cards flowing through me, what am I supposed to do?
I do think that because so many people post draft videos now, there used to be a lot of articles where people would just show you the draft picks and they would kind of discuss them. Mm-hmm. And it was very easy to read one of those in 10 minutes, talk about the picks, and people would really dig into individual picks. I kind of feel like now, because people do videos, how many people watch? I never watch a draft video. It's just too long. I don't watch it. So I know that personally, I'm in a lot less conversations about, did you see how this guy drafted?
Uh-huh.
So I feel like there's a lot of talk about overall strategy, but I'm sure at the Pro Tour, those guys sitting in a house testing for a week really dug into it, but clearly those teams came up with really widely different results.
Yes.
I feel like there's not as much really deep of analysis of the draft goes down this way, what's the best path to take? At least I haven't read a lot of it. And like I said, when people have written articles, there's a massive disagreement.
What are you doing?
So,
you're insane. Why? What do you mean this card?
So I'm definitely not consuming as many I used to feel like I would look at 50 draft recaps if someone did and say and you look at the Pro Tour draft recaps of the tables, a lot of crazy stuff happened there too. So I don't know. It's a deep format. I think it's going to take a long time to figure out.
for whatever it's worth, I think the 5-color strategies are still underrated. People obsess too much about being able to cast the 3-color gold cards. You're just like, if you're gonna pass me charms, you're gonna pass me the uncommon gold cards and the rares, I'll play a 3-color mana base.
Yeah,
like,
3 colors is easy, I think.
You still get mana screwed with your 2-color mana base. I'll just have way more powerful spells than you. Try to draft the lands, but even if I can't get more than a couple, I'm only gonna get mana screwed slightly more.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed in the sealed deck, like in the PTQs, when you play someone in sealed and they're 5 colors, when they start unmorphing things get bad. Like they never unmorph like the 1/5 flyer. They don't unmorph the 3/6.
Sure.
Like their morphs are spicy every time.
Yeah.
Like the 4/4 lifelink, the 5/5 trampler.
Right.
It's always at the minimum one of those guys.
Yeah, there's not a lot. The morphs at common aren't super impactful, other than the cycle of the 3-color morphs.
Right.
I feel like all the other commons are just kind of there.
Right.
I don't know. I actually feel like I no longer feel guilty fixing my mana base with a banner because I don't want to play these common morphs anyway.
Oh, I'm on Team Andrew Caneo with the banners. I'm never casting a banner.
He posted a deck to Twitter that had a banner in it. He had a bunch of bombs, right? He's like, I have a bunch of 3-color bombs. I got to get my colors.
Really? He played a banner?
He played one. Wow. There was much commenting and much snickering, but he admitted, the post was something like, this is what it takes to get me to play a banner. And the deck was just gorgeous. Yeah. But yeah, you know what? You got to get your colored mana. I think that, I want the higher power level. And if you have to play a banner, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's weird. Even my internal, like I'm so split. Like I love the higher power level decks. I love the 5-color decks. But I've drafted an insane amount of 2-color decks, and I've liked them.
No, yeah, going into the Pro Tour, I was a big fan of the 2-color decks. I just felt they were overdrafted. Like, if there's 3 people competing for the Warriors deck, all of your decks
interesting
suck.
that the Warriors. I haven't actually gone after the Warriors deck at all.
I mean, I like the red-white one better, but I think the Warriors one is the most popular.
Like, I've drafted
one.
black-green.
Black-green, wow. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah. I think that the people who are sitting down and saying, I want to be the 2-color beatdown, they're either red-white with, like, going wide with a bunch of tokens and trying to come over the top with a Trumpet Blast and an Act of Treason and a Trumpet Blast for the win, or they're black-white with all the Warrior synergies.
Yeah, see, I drafted a bunch of blue-black and black-green decks. Where I'm just like, 2-drop, 3-drop, Bitter Revelation, untap, Awaken the Bear, like...
Wow. It's not... The other decks that I've seen do really well, I mean, the Wind Scout decks. Like, you can build a Prowess deck that's quite good. Yeah. 2 and a splash in the Jeskai colors.
Yeah,
Wind Scout as your 3-drop.
I had a bunch of deck that was the Skull Hunters and the Wind Scouts. It was like blue-black beatdown. I loved it. Like,
wow. Dimir, sure. Just no gold cards.
Yeah, no, I had like... I think I splashed 2 red cards or something.
Sure. But the Skull Hunter was one of my favorites early on, except that all the other raid cards are in red-white. Like, you just wind up with these 3-color decks where you're splashing black for Skull Hunter, which doesn't work.
It's like a 2-color card. I mean, I cast him on turn 4 a lot, but I just don't cast. Like, on the draw, I rarely play him on turn 2.
Yeah, he's tricky that way. Definitely a cool format.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Cool format.
I don't know if it's as cool as Vintage.
Well, no. I actually saw Ari Lax tweeted this morning. He was happy to see the attendance going up. He's like, happy to see Magic's best format is still growing. Was not expecting to see him call this Magic's best format. But he did.
I think he's been on Team Vintage for a while.
No, you listen to him. He's 6 months his team has been looking forward to this. He's got a Pro Tour team over here. He's got a Vintage team over here. Totally different group of guys. And he's like, okay, Team D-Gen, I'll be back in a couple of months. I got to go test for the Pro Tour. Wins Hawaii, and he's like, all right, what are we playing at Eternal Weekend?
Yeah, I mean, Vintage is still unexplored in many ways. I mean, see, even in Vintage Super League,
Yeah.
I mean, and people really, there's been a lot of flailing, not really understanding what we're supposed to be doing. Like, perks that were just like totally unplayable if Workshops is a real deck. Like, and then kind of, and then all the people experimenting in the 3rd round are kind of like, why did I do this to ourselves, including me?
Sure.
And then it's been a lot of stumbling. Like, it's kind of a format where it's so different than the other formats. You need to make the mistakes to realize why they don't work.
Yeah, the Treasure Cruise dig thing is pretty interesting to me too. We've got this set of decks, the first set since Cons is legal. I think there's, 8 to 5 Treasure Cruises lead dig through times in deck list or something. Right. It's like 3 decks have Cruise, 2 decks have dig. And Luis, I know, is saying he thought the digs were now a mistake, that his deck would have been better off with Treasure Cruise. But haven't seen a Treasure Cruise cast yet here at Eternal Weekend, and Ari Lax's dig through times look spectacular.
I feel like he'd like Treasure Cruise because of his parents. He got paired against Treasure Cruise decks that have pyros and are doing 1-for-1 trading.
Sure.
And won't. I don't know. It seems like if your deck plays Vampiric Tutor, it's hard to imagine Dig isn't better than Treasure Cruise.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
They're both really good.
I mean, ultimately, I think it's going to come to I think the Delver list is actually better off with Treasure Cruise.
Oh, for sure. Because
but I think the Angel City Vault list is better off with Dig Through Time.
Absolutely. Those are kind of the extremes, though.
Granted.
It's the in-between.
But that's the interesting question. Like, how far in between? Where's the line? Is it sort of just Treasure Cruise is this obscure, you're the beatdown, none of your cards matter, only the Delver deck?
We also have not seen a lot of games, at least not in Vintage Super League, where the Delver in the Delver decks actually meant anything.
I'm calling it a Delver deck, it's the mascot at this point.
But that's an interesting, just as far as talking about Treasure Cruise versus Dig Through Time. A lot of those games, they could have easily just been on the Dig Through Time lists. Because they weren't casting Delvers anyway.
No, but they're a young Pyromancer deck.
Right, but both decks are young Pyromancer decks, right? I'm saying that...
Oh yeah, but I mean, I think all the guys that have Digs in that deck would think they should have Treasure Cruise.
Yeah, it's maybe you're right.
I think the Digs want to be in decks with Haymakers, which even the 4-color Pyromancer that Luis is running, it's got a Yawgmoth's Will,
and
it's got
Fast
Fast Bond, but they're not, I don't know, they're not Vault Key.
The thing that
hurt, Draw 7.
I've just seen, and it happened to Menendia more than anyone else, I think, in Vintage Super League, but drawing the gushes when you don't have the Fast Bond, there are games where it just hurts you.
Agreed.
It just hurts you.
Totally agree.
And I think that is maybe the problem with the deck that Luis is playing, and I guess.
And I mean, I think here this weekend, both Bob and Dave are on a Delver list, which is essentially Luis saying, okay, based on my Vintage Super League experience, based on what you guys are telling me about the East Coast metagame, they've got Trigons in the deck. We've actually, if you've seen the deck tech we did with Dave Williams, that's essentially an LSV design.
Right.
It's Delver. He dropped the green. It does not have Fast Bond. It's down to 2 gushes because it does not have Fast Bond.
Doesn't have Trigons, though?
It doesn't have Fast Bond. It does have a splash of green for Trigon and the flashback on Ancient Grudge. That's all it's got the green for. So no Fast Bond, only 2 Grudge, no black mana. Trying to be sort of the refined Delver list. But I mean, those guys, Bob has 2 losses already, last I heard, and Dave I heard they're 2-1 and 1-2. I don't know how they did this most recent round.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that the idea that
somehow Luis is doing poorly with this deck in Vintage Super League is that actually reality? He's 1-1.
Which for him is bad. I don't know.
Wow.
Still in first place all by himself.
Yeah, I don't know. His deck has. It's not. The match he lost was a very specific matchup where his opponent had great draws, and
I mean, ultimately, I think this all supports your theory that Vintage is still kind of unexplored.
Oh, for sure.
People don't really understand all the matchups. People don't really understand what Cons does to the metagame.
Right, we still have. I mean, we had that crazy mono blue deck that Ifro played. Was that deck good? Was that deck bad? They gave it up.
It was mediocre. I think it was mediocre. I think they went 500 between the two of them, but
500 Vintage Super League.
Yeah, I mean, true. Have you figured out your matchup for this week? I'd love to.
Yeah, I mean, you would love to talk about that.
I have no idea how your matchup for this week works. I want to understand. Chris and I are paired on Tuesday.
I mean, I think that we can both say that winning the die roll is important.
Sure.
Yeah. One of us can kill the other person's creatures much better than the other.
Sure.
I don't know. I really don't know. It's a very strange matchup.
I do think it's cool that you came to the table with a homebrew. I definitely tip
cool.
my creative hat to you.
Unless the deck's a little worse than I wish it was. Like I really threw it together at the last second. But could have been better.
Your stat for the first week was the coolest stat of the year too. With the maximum possible number of Bobs involved in the match.
9 of 9.
4 Dark Confidants on both sides and Bob Maher.
Someone pointed out that Bob and his dad could play and have 10.
Bob Senior?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I think it might have been Ifro that pointed that out.
Sure. Yeah, Bob Maher's dad, definitely. Bob would travel with his dad back in the day, back in the 90s. His dad would also play the PTQs.
How are we doing on pairings?
Someone is bringing pairings over. I mean, we'll look at him if we can't find Brian.
I'll check him out.
Okay, we're going to pause the stream real quick. We're going to reset it just to make sure we don't have any frame rate issues. Pairings are going up right now, so stay tuned. Don't mind the flicker on the stream. We will be right back with round 5? Round 5.
Roland Chang versus Ari Lax.
Done.